RDJ as Doom?
Yeah, that looks legit to me.
And then they came out with the controllers and was like, would you do $1 each for these controllers? And I was like, yes, I would.
This movie like 2000
Jail.
high school.
Straight to jail, John.
So guys, this means that Thanos is coming back in Daredevil.
Wait, say that again? It's fantastic.
Fantastic.
The podcast where we talk about what we truly want.
Welcome. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Welcome to the seminar, the podcast of your dreams, where we talk about crazy stuff, movies, comics, TV shows, books, VHS, physical media, whatever you dream of at night when you're alone in your bed and you're excited.
Well,
So
I'm
guys,
the one that dreams of physical media, but
yeah, that's probably you, Wade. But guys, we're talking about what we truly want tonight, and we're talking some crazy stuff. We're gonna get into it, but I got some boys with me. I got Dabe, the VHS aficionado himself. Dabe, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much. Just, been a busy week, but still here for the pod. You always got to be here for the pod.
Exactly. And we got Savvy Sears himself, the guru of everything, stocking liquids.
Many types of liquids.
Yes.
Coming to a store near you, liquids.
Yes. Well, guys, tonight we're going to be talking Revenge of the Sith, John Wick. We're talking Andor, episodes 4 through 6. We're talking about The Accountant 2 and also Sinners, the movie. So, guys, buckle up. But, Dave, you got a VHS story for us. Isn't that right?
Of course, Cam. I always got a VHS story I could share.
Of course you do.
You'll remember last week during our Andor review, I was a little preoccupied bidding on something. And in our little private chat, everyone was like, "Did you win?" And I was like, "Yes, at a cost." So
Yes.
I ended up winning this lot of VHS tapes, all sealed. It got crazier as I kept getting stuff. So I ended up spending $410 total for about 35 tapes. Here's a picture. Here's a picture of them all.
Oh.
But dude, these are the cream of the crop when it comes to tapes. So
You got Halloween 4 in there.
dude, horror always sells well.
Yep.
See, there's a couple of them that have that CBS Fox logo, the gray CBS Fox. That is a first release usually of those of tapes like that.
You got It in there, Rambo, Child's Play, Aliens. Dang,
Three
dude, that's a
Ninjas.
good lot.
Dude, and most of them have VHS when they were shrink wrapped, they had a stamp that they got put on, so you can kind of see maybe on on Karate Kid there above Dr. Strangelove, they've got the white little stamps on them there. Those are called watermarks. And if a tape still has watermark, because they fade very easily, if they still have those, they're worth even more. They're more rare. So, dude, almost all of these had watermarks on them, and almost all of them are perfect mint condition, first releases, all the 9 yards. Dang. So I'm gonna make a lot of money, but it's hard not to sell some of them.
So Wade, are you keeping any?
We'll see. It depends on how quickly I make my money back and make a good profit. I would love to. So this is one I would love to keep. You kind of could see it on there, but it's Aliens.
Oh, dude.
It is this is the first release. The red hi-fi label up here with the CBS Fox.
Oh my goodness, dude.
That's one I'd like to keep. I'm currently wearing Cobra Kai Never Die shirt.
Yeah.
Cobra Kai, so I had to pull out Karate Kid as well. This one is an all-around tape, so it's it doesn't just slide. You know how they usually slide out the bottom?
Yeah,
this one opens from the side here, so it's a little box for it.
Dude.
Very rare. Very rare.
That's insane.
And this one I thought the pod would like. Have you guys
I was going to ask about that one.
Is that the Punisher?
The Punisher,
Dolph
dude,
Lundgren.
sealed.
Yeah.
Is it sealed?
Yep, and it's got these blue watermarks on there on the back.
Crazy.
It's a little reel,
I kind of want to see that. That's with Dolph Lundgren, right?
Yep.
I've never seen it. I think it's free on YouTube, though, so...
What would it come out in, 1982 or something?
Something like that.
1990?
Apparently, he doesn't wear the Punisher logo in that movie at all.
What?
Yeah, that's what people don't like about it. They say
That's so dumb.
It's pretty brutal, but it's like he doesn't ever wear the logo.
Dang.
So yeah, I'll give you guys periodic updates on how things are doing with the sales. Currently, 3 of them went live tonight, so right at 9:00 as we started. So maybe I'll get some while we.
The key with buying a lot like that is that you can sell them all individually and make more back.
Yeah.
Correct?
So when I do a breakdown on an Excel spreadsheet always, and I think I ended up paying $14 per tape, which is not bad at all.
That's not bad.
So like the Punisher one, I'm going to list for 80. The Aliens one is going to be listed for like 125. There's one here. I'll pull this up again.
Dude.
There's one right down here, Child's Play 2. That's with Chucky.
Yes, yeah.
That one had some Universal watermarks on the back, and usually it's like MCA Universal.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even find anything on it. So I was like, you know what? I'm shooting for the moon. I listed it for $500.
Dang.
So we'll see. I might be crazy for trying that, but
no, you might as well.
Like I said, who cares if it sits for like 2 months? I'm not in a rush to get my money back. But
dang,
we'll
dude, that's insane, Wade. I'm
That's
so
awesome.
happy that you could.
So it was kind of scary. I'm still like a little bit sweating about it, but I think it'll pan out in the end and
that's awesome.
Be good.
Dude.
But like I said, I'd love to keep that Aliens one if I make enough money.
It's been a month for you, VHS wise, Dave. The Barney sale and then this.
Oh, I know. So,
hopefully you make double back, right? Is that the goal?
That's
more
the
than
goal.
double?
When I put it in, okay, when I shot for the moon in a lot of those tapes. So when I put it all in, the total like list value, so that's before fees and before shipping and all that, the total list value was $4,000. So
hopefully you can do that, Wade.
Hopefully I make $2,000. That'd be awesome. So we'll see.
You'll have to keep us updated on that $500 Alien.
The Alien's only going to be like 125, but yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You meant Child's Play?
Child's Play. Sorry.
Yeah,
that's wild.
I'll keep the pod updated.
That's wild. Well, let's get into this next topic here. Revenge of the Sith was re-released in theaters. To many people's surprise, that it's making a crazy amount of money, but it's the 20th year anniversary. Me and Wade saw this in theaters back in 2005. I was 5 years old. Wade, you were like 7?
7.
I don't know why our parents allowed us to go see this at 5 and 7.
Dude, how could we not? Well, get this. My first movie in theaters, I went with our aunt and her ex-boyfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And we went and saw episode 2. So, I was already, the kid who was so into Star Wars, ready and raring to go see episode 3. But yeah, we went with Johnny J and his dad and our dad. And yeah, that was such a time,
So it's crazy. And I think Logan went too.
He did, but Mom always tells a story that he started like crying or something right as Anakin was becoming Darth Vader and trying to leave.
That is wild. I can't believe we were there. And then I got to go and see it in theaters again. I'm 25 now, so 20 years later. Pretty crazy to see it in theaters again. It was very emotional, actually. I was like, what the heck? This movie means a lot to me, actually. It's in my top 10. I love it. But, why do you guys think episode 3 holds up still? I mean, that it's still here and it's making... I'll get into the numbers in a bit, but why do you guys think that is the case? That it's... I don't know. What is your opinion on that?
Colin, you want to go first? You want me to go
first?
Yeah,
I'll go first. I think the prequels have just become like iconic. Like, it's so funny because I think about like people who are like our parents' age, who are in their like 40s, 50s, 60s, and so on, and they grew up with the original Star Wars and they hated these movies when they came out.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, oh, these movies are terrible. What was George Lucas doing? But for us, like, these movies are so good. And I think it's just because they've become such a part of our culture, like with all the memes and everything. Like, with meme culture, I think that's why these movies blew up, just because there were so many memes on the internet. And I think that's probably, it just built hype. And so when they re-released it, people were like, oh, we got to go see this.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I think even like some of our generation for a while, because of all the hate from the older generations, we all kind of were like, they're not the prequels. They're not that great. But then like with the Star Wars Renaissance a couple of years ago, everyone's like, oh yeah, I loved it the whole time, like especially episode 3. It's it's just
you have like YouTube channels starting only like just because of the prequels, like Star Wars Theory. You have all these guys who are just like obsessed with the prequels. It's just like it's become culturally iconic. Also, even if they are a little bit corny, I think the visuals are super good. For one, like what the heck, like we can't. I don't think anybody can really top episode 3. Honestly, I don't know. I don't. Maybe in the future, maybe like Avatar is obviously pretty good.
They're definitely trying, yeah.
But George Lucas was ahead of his time, and that kind of gets into Light and Magic a little bit. The documentary, just they were just pushing boundaries. But do you guys? It's kind of funny. It's kind of. I wonder what George Lucas thinks about this. That he's just like sitting back laughing in his chair.
Oh, he's laughing his way all the way to the bank, dude. He's getting so many toy royalties,
gosh,
Dude.
Oh yeah.
And I wonder if he sees any of this money, but it's made $42.2 million globally, and this includes $25.2 million domestically, and also an additional $7 million from international markets. And this re-release was a significant success, marking it the most money a re-release has ever made, showcasing the movie's lasting appeal according to various sources. So that's what the article says. Wild. I love it. I love this movie.
It totally makes sense. I mean, we were in the perfect age to go see it in 2005. I think a 7 and 5-year-old were able to enjoy it, even though there's dark stuff in it. But yeah, and now we're the age where, especially our generation, is really big on nostalgia, and so going back to see it again, I mean, it's well worth the time.
But it's also just a good story. I mean, honestly. I like the story too. Like Anakin, I love how Hayden Christensen's getting his love now, because like poor guy like left Hollywood for forever, and now it's like he's like high regarded, like it's like, dude, he is awesome. Like you're just like, dude, that fight scene is ridiculous, and even the acting honestly is really good. I think like the anger. I think that's at his. And when Anakin's at his best is when he's angry and when he's becoming a Sith, actually.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how even like Denis Villeneuve based Paul Atreides off of Anakin, which is funny because it's actually George Lucas based Anakin off of Paul Atreides. But it's funny how the reverse kind of happened, because apparently Denis Villeneuve was like looking at pictures of Anakin Skywalker becoming evil when he made Paul Atreides in the new movies. So I just think it's culturally iconic, and my theater was cheering for everything. The beginning, the when the younglings got killed, when everybody said hello there really loud, like when General Grievous.
I bet that was awesome.
And then there was a row of dudes dressed up, and they were all quoting the entire Obi-Wan versus Anakin Mustafar scene. They quoted every line, and that could be kind of annoying, but for me, I thought it was hilarious. I was like, it kind of made me feel validated as a Star Wars nerd. Yeah, honestly.
That's awesome, Cam. I bet that was a great experience. I wish I could have come, but we got a few comments. Let's post them up here real quick.
Yeah, let's go.
The year is 2005. The Pope recently died. I am on my way to see Revenge of the Sith in the theaters.
That is funny. That's kind of creepy. The same thing happened at both times. That's wild. Yeah.
George Lucas planned it.
Yeah. Sam says best part of the prequels is the PowerPoint transitions for every scene. I kind of agree. I think it's classic Star Wars, honestly.
Well, even in New Hope, you have the ones going up.
Yeah.
When they pick C-3PO up, it goes like this.
It definitely is a Star Wars. George Lucas, I'm sure, decided that. But
yeah, it makes it feel like Star Wars, though.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Last one here. 7 and 5 is literally youngling age. Oh no.
So
we resonated.
No wonder Log cried.
That's so terrible.
Oh man. Well, let's get into this next topic, boys. We got the John Wick is Pain documentary. This is about the entire franchise, just the Chad Stahelski and Keanu Reeves partnership. Making this movie was a huge risk, apparently.
Yeah, that's what was interesting to me watching it. He was like, we barely. I would like he had to take out loans on his house or something.
Oh my goodness!
To just make the movie.
Crazy.
It's like, dang, bro.
And they took it seriously, and they accomplished something wild, like one of the best action franchises of all time, I think.
For sure.
If you look at the action, the choreography, the stunts, it is ridiculous what they have accomplished, and even designing new ways to film it and new. I don't even know how they come up with new stuff each movie. Because it's hard to reinvent the wheel, but with them, they've reinvented it every time. I feel like every movie there's something new. But yeah, did you guys Wade? What did you think about this? Are you gonna watch this doc? I don't know if I'll watch it, or maybe
is
if
it
it's
gonna be
if it's
streaming or somewhere.
If it's streaming, I would watch it for sure.
Okay.
But
yeah, I don't know
sure.
if I'd go to the theaters for it, but yeah, potentially. I mean, it is like you said, the greatest action franchise of all time, most probably. And it sounds like I've never seen any interviews with Chad Stahelski until that. So I was like, yeah, it'd be interesting to hear his his mindset when it comes to these movies and how he came up with stuff.
Well, he was a stunt coordinator.
Yeah.
For Keanu Reeves, he was his stunt man in Matrix, which is wild.
Okay.
And then
Makes sense,
kind of learned the movie business and started his own thing. And I props to him.
Yeah, they talk about that top down scene, and he was like, "Yeah, we came up with that," and Keanu Reeves is like, you came up with that," like he's the mastermind behind these awesome action scenes.
Keanu Reeves is an athlete. I mean, apparently. Like when he did that football movie, they were considering draft. They were like, "Should we draft him?" Apparently, that's what John said. He is actually an athlete, and so his gunplay is wild as well. So I mean, props to them. But Colin, any thoughts about this? Do you like the John Wicks, right?
Yeah. I own all of them, and
nice.
Like Dave said, if it is in theaters, I'll go see it. If not, it's on streaming. I'll still probably watch it, just because I think. These movies are basically kind of the action movies that defined, I think, our generation. This just set a whole new bar
standard.
The standard for what action movies are. Because now you have movies like Nobody. Trying to think of other ones. A lot of action movies
now they're copying it
now.
almost. Yeah.
And so it's the one that set the standard. You see that with trying to think. Die Hard was one that set the standard. You have Taken, where it's Liam Neeson, just this old dude fighting a bunch of random people. That kind of set the standard for a lot of action movies. And then John Wick came along and did the same thing. And
I would also say Matrix, which is another Keanu Reeves. That was a sci-fi action thing that set
for sure.
For a little bit.
For sure.
Yeah, so it's these movies are really good, and I'm excited to see a documentary into how they came up with it and everything that they did to make it. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm all about the behind the scenes, honestly. Sometimes it is really fun for me to watch those, but yeah. So, guys, should we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, let's do
Colin is going to break down Sinners for us. I haven't seen it. Dave hasn't seen it. The Cinematic Webb himself, our movie theater correspondent. Colin, break it down for us. How are you feeling about it?
Awesome. So, I liked this movie. I don't know. When I came out of the theater, I was a little I like this movie, but I also didn't like this movie in some ways. And I'll kind of explain why. But basically, this is Ryan Coogler's newest movie, and it's a period piece. It takes place in, I think, 1932 in Mississippi. And it's about two brothers. Their names are Smoke and Stack. And both played by... Yeah, Smokestack. They're both played by Michael B. Jordan. And the thing I really liked about this movie is his performance, because he plays the role of twins. But throughout the entire movie, he doesn't feel like the same person at all. You always know which twin it is. It's either Smoke or Stack, just because they use the visuals to kind of set them apart. But also his personality as well is so drastically different between the two brothers. So it feels like he's actually his twin brother is actually playing
wild.
The other brother. It's kind of crazy. So he does a phenomenal job with that. But basically they were in World War I, and then they're become gangsters in Chicago working with Al Capone. and then they return home to Mississippi, where they want to start what's known as a juke joint. So this is the Prohibition era, and that's basically where like African American people would go to like drink and gamble and do like illegal stuff, but also listen to music. And so music is a big part of this movie. So they also, another main character is their cousin Sammy, and he basically just wants to play the blues, but his dad's like a kind of a strict preacher who's like, no, I want you to become a preacher like me. And he's like, no, Dad, I want to play the blues. That kind of that kind of trope.
Yeah.
And so they open this juke joint. They buy an old sawmill with the money that they have from being gangsters, and yeah, that's the first half of the movie. And then the second half, some vampires show up and try to kill him.
What the? Are you serious?
Yeah,
I was not expecting that.
Yeah,
it sounded so like real life.
I knew that was the plot, Wade, and
okay.
it's like a type of like mashing two genres together. Would you say?
Yeah.
Would you say that's right, Colin?
I would say
right?
that's exactly correct. I heard a review. Have you guys seen what's it called? I think it's
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
But
yeah.
I've heard like that movie's the same way. They kind of like set up all the characters, and then in the second half of the movie, vampires show up, and it's like them trying to, I don't know. That's what some people said that they felt that this was like. I haven't seen that movie, but I kind of want to watch it because it was kind of cool. Because it is a horror movie. Like the second half of the movie, you have those horror elements, and so, but it's just really cool. The action's good, the gore is good, and just the characters themselves are pretty good as well. Like the problem I have with horror movies, I don't really like them for the most part, just because I think they're pretty generic and they're pretty predictable. Like you kind of know which characters are going to die, that type of thing. But the thing I liked about this movie is they took the first half of the movie to develop the characters, so you actually like cared when they were either getting killed or turned or whatever. And so I thought that was really good. Like I said, music is a big part of this. And so this was kind of one of the things I don't know if I necessarily liked when I watched it. They say like right off. No, the music's actually really good because there is some music in this. They're like playing the blues. That's really good. But they start off in the beginning of the movie. They're like, sometimes a musician comes along and his music like transcends space and time. And it kind of like something to do with like the spiritual realm, and that's what attracts the vampire to their juke joint is like the music. So there's this one scene, and I won't give too much away, but basically like it's where music is like transcending space and time, and it just like I don't know, it took me out of the movie because I was like, what is happening?
Is that the scene? Because I've seen people like there's this one scene that's absolutely insane or something.
I think that was it, and I don't know if I just didn't get it when I was watching it, but I was just like, this is kind of weird. but some people loved it. So I was like, okay, yeah, I don't know. But the other thing I liked about this movie is, unlike most horror movies, the characters figure out pretty quick what's going on. They're like, oh shoot, like these people are acting really weird. And one of the love interests, I forget her name, but she plays the kind of like the head guard in Loki.
Oh yes, I know who you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, so she's kind of like a witch.
Hunter B-17 or whatever.
Yes, yep. So she's kind of like a witch. So she like knows about vampires in a sense, or she just knows about the spiritual realm, and so she's like, I think like this is what we're dealing with, and they're like, okay, and they just go with it, and they figure out how to like. They're like, all right, we need garlic, like all the basic vampire tropes they used, but it works for the context that it's in. So they're not stupid. They're not just like running off and being like, oh, what's that noise? I'm gonna go like
I need to save my cat.
They're like, no, like let's band together and like actually fight these vampires. And so I think that was good. The other problem I had with it is the head vampire, like the villain, he's not really developed. Like you don't really know what his motives are. Like you kind of do, but it's like they give like 2 lines of dialogue. So if you miss it, you're like kind of like, why is he doing this? Like it doesn't really
like racism.
no, It's actually the opposite. Like he just wants to like bring people together in a way by
Oh,
making them live forever. And he wants Sammy, the guy who plays the music, because he's a really good blues player. Like he wants him because of his stories or something. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I feel like if they had developed his character more,
I gotcha.
Maybe not introduced him in this like halfway mark of the movie, but yeah, I don't know. I thought overall it was good. I think I liked it a little bit less than some people did. Some people think this movie's like perfect and amazing. I was like, yeah, there were some things I liked, some things I didn't, but overall it's pretty good.
All right, Colin, before you give your how many webs out of 5, we got 2 quick comments here. Haley absolutely killed it.
Oh yeah, I forgot she's in this too. She's
Haley Steinfeld.
Yep.
Okay.
She was really good.
Also, in an interview, the writer-director dude was saying he made it for his late uncle who used to say the sentence of transcending space and time.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so like music, it transcends space and time. So that's probably where Ryan Coogler got that idea from.
Yeah.
And that's what attracts the vampire guy, dude.
Colin, do you know why this movie's so controversial right now? Have you heard about that? Like the controversy around this? Because Ryan Coogler got the rights to it, apparently. And so he's making crazy money, right? Or is that? No,
so basically he cut a deal with, I think, Warner Brothers.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're distributing the film and they have the rights to it for 25 years. But after that, the rights revert back to Ryan Coogler. And he said this movie is kind of like a one and done thing. Like there's not going to be sequels, there's not going to be spin-offs.
Yeah.
Like it's just, he called it like a meal. It has your appetizer, your main course, and your dessert. And that's all you need. So he cut the deal so that way Warner Brothers can't do anything with it after probably 25 years or whatever. And then he makes probably any money off the movie after that point or whatever. But yeah, people are like, oh, is this the death of Hollywood? Is this the death of the studio system? Because directors are going to want to cut deals to where the rights revert back to them.
And then they can do whatever they want with it.
Yeah. And so because even I think Sylvester Stallone, like he doesn't even own
the Rocky movies.
I don't think. I think some studio or random person owns it.
MGM probably, right?
Yeah. And he like wrote it and directed it. So I know like some big directors, like I think I heard Quentin Tarantino, he did a similar thing with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So some directors have done this, so it's not uncommon. I just don't know why they're making it
such a big deal.
Yeah,
it is making a lot of money. So
yeah, it is for an R-rated horror movie. Yeah, it's taking over the box office. It's doing extremely well.
Dude, Warner Brothers has had a good year. I mean, Sinners isn't Accountant 2 Warner Brothers? Or maybe it's not. I'm not sure. But Sinners and Minecraft movie and then Superman, like, dude, they're going to be rolling in it. They've had some bad years recently.
Yeah.
So
oh, yeah. They've been struggling.
That's kind of good for them, I guess. But
yeah.
All right, so how many webs?
I would say probably 4. I was on
4 out of 5?
3.5, 4. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I think it's going to be, I don't know if I'd call it a classic. Some people are, but I think it's going to be one of those movies that people are going to come back to over time and be like, okay, yeah, it kind of set some trends.
Do you think it'd be like a cult classic maybe type deal?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
That is kind of cool. I would like for some movies to come out that like reverberate through, where we're like, oh man, we're still talking, like Dune, we're still talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, pretty cool.
It's like you said, Cam, I think like movies in 2025 have just been good.
Oh, and
I think this has been part of it. Like we'll talk about The Accountant too, but most of the movies I've seen this year, they've been pretty decent.
Sweet. All right, guys, should we move on to the next topic?
Let's do it.
All right. We are at Andor. Right, Wade? Yeah. Yes. Andor Season 2, 4 through 6 got released on Tuesday night, I believe, right? And we get that 1 year time jump. Pretty cool. But we get there's a lot of I'm gonna break it down by plot point. You guys give me your thoughts. Colin hasn't seen it.
No.
Dave has. Let's jump into it. 1 year later, Cyril Karn works for the Bureau of Standards on Gorman, Spider Planet. He's secretly working for Deidre, though, and he's infiltrating the Gorman Rebel Front. How'd you feel about that kind of little side plot way with Cyril? Not really a side plot, kind of the main.
Yeah, no, it's his stuff is the most interesting to me, honestly. I've loved his character since the first season.
Yeah.
But this season it's been really good too. The question mark I have though is, obviously he's playing like a double agent, like pretending like he's just with the Empire working on Gorman, but he's not. He's not
actually aligned with them. Yeah,
because they looked into his past or whatever and saw that he had issues with the IBS. He
got fired.
Right. So they think, okay, he's on our side, but he's secretly working with Deidre, who he's in a relationship with or whatever.
Yep.
But
she's kind of using him though.
Yeah, there's something they haven't said, like, what's going on there? Like, why is
she's kind of hiding the Empire's full plans
from him? Yeah, exactly. So
I don't know. They're kind of using him. I think they're gonna blame him too for things. I don't know. They're gonna put him in the spotlight.
I hope not, dude. That would. Although if he became a rebel, that would be awesome. That'd be a great story.
It'd be cool if he became a rebel because he's so passionate about everything he does,
and he's been so burned by the Empire once, and if they do that again with like even with the girl that he's like now with, that'd be wild. That'd be a great story for him.
If he put his efforts into the rebellion, it would be wild because the dude is I don't even know how to describe him. Just no nonsense. He has to do it. He's got to get it done. He's got to impress the upper ups. I don't know. It's just very, very interesting character they've written there. But yeah, the Gormans are spying on Cyril while Cyril is spying on them. So that's kind of funny. And nobody's trusting anybody. They're kind of mirroring each other. We also have the rebel operations on Dakar. We see Saw Gerrera is back. He's training rebels for a Rhydonium heist. Maybe we're going to see... I guess we kind of saw that in the last episode, which I didn't really understand. We'll get to that part way. That was really
I wasn't
weird.
Fully understood on what was going on with them building that machine, and then...
You got Wilman.
They were like sucking it in at the end there. I was like, what was that about? But
I don't know. I guess that's what... Is that what gives Saw Gerrera his, dease?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, that must be why he's, on a ventilator later.
Yes, and he's, his limbs are cut off. He's got, robotic limbs. So I don't know.
They haven't explained that, have they? That's
maybe they're going to get into that, but you get that Wilman character from the first few episodes. He was on the the wheat planet.
Yeah.
But now he's here with Saw Gerrera, and so that was an interesting side plot. You get to see some of the X-Wings, finally. So that was kind of cool. I don't know if Saw Gerrera is the one who's supplying the X-Wings. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, when they were jumping to his storyline, it was like when it felt the most Star Wars to me because it's got he's got all those crazy aliens that help him.
Oh. And the big the big white dude with the huge fluffy fur running around. I was like, dang, it feels like Star Wars actually.
Yeah. Yep.
You get Cassian and Bix on Coruscant. They're kind of just bored. I thought this was the weakest of the stories, Wade. Would you say? Yeah. Or they're just bored on Coruscant, what are we gonna do? Oh man! But then Luthen finally gives him a job in the second episode, which we'll talk about. But you have them in that safe house on Coruscant. Some really cool cinematography. They actually make Coruscant look awesome, which is
agree.
very.
Coruscant did look great.
It looks so bad in Mando and all these new shows in Ahsoka. Coruscant just looks like big, huge little structures. It actually looked like Coruscant in this, so that was pretty cool. It is definitely a slow burn, Wade. There's heavy spy tension. They're building towards something. Hopefully, Wade, speak a little bit about that. You feel a little bit just burnt a little bit, just a little slow.
Yeah, I honestly... my complaint last time was that there wasn't enough action, and Jacob, made fun of me for that. But I don't know, dude. It's too slow. I don't necessarily care about the small detail, but the problem is they're trying to be very complex in the dialogue. But when it's like it comes across as convoluted to me. Like it's just too much. Like if you don't pay attention to every little line and understand exactly what they're talking about, you're gonna not really understand the whole plot. And honestly, that's how I felt for a couple of the plots, both this time and last time. So,
yeah, I kind of agree. I feel like it is going to build to something, and hopefully all of this stuff pays off. You know what I mean? Instead of some of the things didn't really pay off. Like why did Andor need the TIE Avenger? We never found out why he stole that. You know what I mean? From the first episode, it's like
that's the problem with doing the. Like I thought it was a cool idea to do the last 4 years before Rogue One, but the problem is when you only have 3 episodes, even though they're 50 minutes each, it's like, okay, we don't really know what happened with the end of that. It's kind of just a thing.
I think it's like almost like, oh, you're supposed to
we're just like
assume...
checking in with them, like, oh, this is what they're doing this year, like I don't know.
I hope it can kind of get a little bit better. But let's talk about.
I just need something like that. Like whoa, like oh, that's crazy. Like that hasn't happened yet. So
like Mando blowing up the dragon in the season 2 premiere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was wild. Like everybody was like, that is crazy, so awesome, and visually cool, and he's working with the Tusken Raiders, and it just felt like Star Wars,
Yeah.
We need a win for Andor, which I think we will, because we got that in the first season with the prison break was so epic.
That's true, and that was later in the season. So.
That was later in the season, so I think I hope Wade it maybe redeems it for you. We'll see. I don't know. Hopefully the show can pay off well. But episode 5 is titled "I Have Friends Everywhere: Infiltration and Revolution" is kind of the theme of this one. You get a lot of spy stuff in this one, right? There's Bix's trauma. She's haunted by the dreams of Dr. Gorst's torture. She's using Star Wars drugs to cope.
Yeah. That's another problem I have is I know Andor is like the TV 14 MA whatever adult version of Star Wars, but it doesn't. You got to have that perfect mix of like childlike wonder with like feeling like it's a real life, adult show movie. Like there's a perfect balance. Like I think The Mandalorian was a perfect balance of like, adult stuff in it, but for the kids,
real world stuff. Yeah.
But like still had that sense of wonder and sense of, amazement of the galaxy. But this just feels too, like, oh, she's taking drugs to, help her with her trauma. Like I don't want to watch that, to be honest. I'm sorry. Not in Star Wars anyway.
Colin, how do you feel about it? Because you're more maybe on the fence. I don't know. How you feel about like the adult themes in Star Wars?
I think I'll have to watch it. But even with the first season, I didn't feel like they went too far.
I agree.
They go really far in this one, though.
Yeah.
You'll see, because we didn't even talk about the stuff.
Did
you hear about the first few episodes? Stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I've heard a lot about it. I mean, I still need to watch it, and I will. But I've heard they're going with more adult, kind of like real world like problems and themes that within the season.
Yeah.
So it's just, and I don't know if it's just they're trying to show what life under like the Empire like would really be like, but I kind of agree with Wade. Like, it's Star Wars. Like you gotta have that balance of, I mean, episode 3 you have Anakin killing younglings, but like even then it's still like, it's not like, oh, this is like so intense. Like I wouldn't watch this with my like 5 or 6 year old. Like you guys went to see it.
Well, George Lucas always cuts away, if you notice, and it's just implied. But it is a little different. I don't know.
So we'll see. We'll see what kind of how.
One thing that George Lucas said to Dave Filoni, Dave Filoni asked him, what's your advice on making Star Wars stuff? And George Lucas said, always think of the kids, because they're the ones who they're going to get their parents to come in and bring to the theater, or they're going to be the ones that enjoy the.
It is about shows. Making that Star Wars magic that we felt with New Hope. You know what I mean? Like
and like this show, I would not show to a kid. Like I would show to a tween. That'd be the earliest.
Yeah,
maybe not even then. It's that dark of stuff that we're dealing with. So
next we get Cyril's undercover life. He's pretending to oppose the ISB to gain the Gorman front trust. Like they come in and search his office, and he's super mad. And I'm like, this is so. He's the best character.
Yes,
he's the best character.
He is by far the best character.
They fake his file to make him believable. He gets them Imperial shipping schedules as well, because he's trying to make the rebels mess up hardcore, like to bring them into the light on Gorman, on this planet that's being really brutally hammered by the Empire. And they even it's kind of a throwaway line in the first few episodes with Director Krennic, but they're trying to bleed this planet till it's dead. Like they're saying they're gonna have to move all the humans, all the occupants off the planet, because they're sucking all the resources out of it, basically.
It's just for the resources, right?
Yeah, so. Not even for the spiders, Wade.
My wife loves spiders, or not really, so it's funny because it's like, creepy spiders, and she's always afraid of them. So
that's funny.
Of course, it's a whole planet based on this season.
Yeah. You also get Cassian's role here. He gets that job from Luthen. He's disguised as a carefree artist. He's lecturing rebels on poor planning.
Kind of silly to me.
Meets a survivor of the Tarkin massacre, which that was kind of a crazy line as well. That Grand Moff Tarkin.
Okay,
the first time he came to Gorman, he landed his ship on 500 people and killed them because they wouldn't move off of the landing pad. I was like, what?
Dude, yeah, that's a crazy lore thing. Like I'd rather see that, I want to see that kind of stuff. But
that's wild. How brutal Tarkin is.
Arguing against the adult stuff, but that's crazy to me. Like
cut away.
A character doing crazy things like that. That's insane.
That's different than very adult themed things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Than just killing people. The Empire's killed people. Darth Vader killed people. You know what I mean? We also get some of Saw's extremism, kills a traitor of the crew, promotes Willman. He delivers this really powerful monologue. Revolution is not for the sane. He's kind of saying he's crazy, which we've always known Saw is crazy.
Well, he gets slowly crazier and crazier. Like it all starts in Clone War. When I did the Star Wars watch through, in chronological order, his whole story is outlined. It's so good. But he starts off after his sister gets killed on that planet in Clone Wars.
He references her sister. Did you hear that?
Yep, he does.
Stila Guerrera.
Well, he calls the Rhydonium that though. He calls it this is Stila or whatever. Like what?
Yeah, he's going crazy. Wade. He's going crazy.
Yeah. So after her death though in Clone Wars, he just starts spiraling, and he you meet him in Bad Batch, and he's blowing up a ship. You meet him in Rebels, and he's trying to exterminate all of the Geonosians. And then obviously at the end, you see him in Rogue One, and he is absolutely insane. And
he's a good character because he's he's like a terrorist rebel basically.
He's willing to go that extra mile to do what has to be done for the rebellion's cause. So obviously Cassian meets up with the head of the rebels on Gorman, kind of deduces that they're too eager to do this. They're not ready at all, basically. But he's kind of lost his hope in the rebellion. Wouldn't you say that, Wade, right? At this point? Luthen's disappointed with him, dude, what happened? It does seem like Bix is a distraction for him, he just cares about her.
His girlfriend, yeah.
Yeah, which is why I remember, is it the second episode when he runs back to Luthen is because remember Luthen paid Bix a visit or something?
Yeah.
And so he was pissed about that. So he runs back in there, and Luthen's like, do you realize coming here is so dumb to blow our cover? But anyway.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's
his antiquity office basically.
Yeah. So I wonder if it's it's his distraction is Bix right now, so he cares less about the rebellion. It's just kind of a job for him, but I'm scared that something's going to happen and he's going to have no choice here.
Luthen's a pretty cool character, I would say. And I like how you're seeing that one ISB traitor, the redhead guy with the mustache,
giving
Luthen, giving Luthen the information. I mean, it's kind of crazy how intricate Luthen. I think he's the most fascinating of the characters. That he's funding the money, but even he's we're drowning. We don't even know what we're doing. We have too many phone lines. Did you like that? Did you like that scene, Wade, where he's talking to his assistant, and he's we can't do this. What are we doing? I think it's kind of crazy how unorganized the rebellion is at first.
Well, yeah,
they gotta get Leia involved, and like all the Yavin 4 people and the X-wings.
This is like the underbelly of the underbelly. Like we're talking like the low level people working together slowly. Like,
and this is like the spies too, though. It's like a spy work,
and it's like factions. Because like at the same time right now, Rebels is going on. So you got the characters from the show Rebels, and
they're not even like together with that group yet, right? With the Yavin 4 assembly, right?
Yeah, or like the whole Lothal group. You got all these like random factions of people. So this is just another faction, and I guess it takes maybe Leia to bring them all together or something. Like that,
I believe so. And Mon Mothma, she says, like, what does she do? She says the Empire is like terrible. Like, what is she? She outs them, right? What is she? What's the word I'm trying to say here? She cuts ties with the Empire in Rebels. That big speech, and then she has to go on the run. So I'm hoping that's the end of this show is her speech in Rebels. I don't know.
They're not even going to bring that up. I don't know if they're even aware of.
But
that.
wait,
I'm sure they are. But
they're tying in Rebels characters, which is wild. Just in general, like Saw Gerrera and
Saw Gerrera's only in it a little bit in Rebels.
Yeah. Let's talk about episode.
He is in Rogue One.
He is in Rogue One, yeah. Which he's a Rogue One creation, actually. That right?
Mm-hmm.
And they retroactively put him in stuff, or he's in Clone Wars first, right? Wade?
Originally in Clone Wars, and then they put him in. Rogue One, and then they went back and added him with Forrest Whitaker's voice in Rebels.
And he's actually in Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order too.
Really?
Yeah, he's on Kashyyyk in that, and Cal Kestis is like getting orders from him, kind of deal, or trying to solve something. I don't know. I can't remember. But let's get into episode 6. What a festive evening! It's titled. We got a lot of tragedy, a lot of turning points in this episode. Cassian is rejected. He's replaced on Gorman by Vel and Cinta, characters from the first season. And we see both. We see Luthen kind of puts them there, right? Because Cassian's like, they're not ready, right? They're too eager. They're not organized. We get some of Luthen's machinations as well. He wants Gorman in open rebellion to inspire the galaxy because they're such a popular planet, right? They're such a rich planet as well, where like rich people are becoming rebels. So that's kind of a big deal that the main weaver guy, the guy who's using the spider webs to weave clothing, he is like in charge of the rebellion on the planet. So that's pretty wild. But yeah, Cassian wants rebels to succeed, but Luthen wants kind of more symbolic fire. Like he wants things to happen, but Cassian wants to be more careful, right? And for them to win, actually. Like even you have that line from Bix where she's like, if I'm going to give everything, I want to win, So I think that's kind of a theme throughout this episode a little bit. You get some of the ISB counterplay as well. ISB manipulating rebels into rebellion to justify crackdowns, basically, right, Wade? Kind of funny. Kind of good writing. They want them to rebel so they can, like, kill them all,
Yeah, right, so they can have them out in the streets open.
Yeah, which is wild. You have Luthen is playing the same game. He's talking up Director Krennic. That was a crazy scene where she's trying to take the listening device off of the relic that's in this guy's house that's filled with antiquities from Luthen, but they put a fake one in there with a listening device, and she has to take it out because they're going to take all of those items out and inspect them. So his assistant's like trying to take it out while Director Krennic is talking to them. It was wild.
And Mon Mothma was like totally asking questions to delay him, like saying stupid things that would, make him mad. It was kind of funny to listen to.
Yeah. And Luthen's like freaking out. This is kind of funny. That was a good it was very like spy heavy, espionage. Let's see what else happens here. We get a little bit of tragedy on Gorman, a Gorman rebel raid. One guy panics and shoots Cinta during the whole process, which I thought was like really dumb because they made a point to be like, don't disobey orders, don't carry a gun, blah, blah, blah. And then this idiot guy, I don't know.
Yeah, but
wait, tell me how you feel.
That was one of my problems, though, is they you come to this planet, and okay, they were a little eager maybe to jump in and start doing this, but they should have listened to them more because they were part of the planet, all these people. Like, you remember in original Star Wars, whenever they'd have like the group meeting with like all the rebels, it would always be like everyone sits in a big circle and everyone gave their opinion, whether it was like if it was a good plan or a bad plan, until they had a solid plan.
Oh, and they asked everyone was on board,
and they asked questions and all that. But in this, when they had all the people in the circle on Gorman, they were like, "Shut up! Don't say anything. Just listen to our orders and follow them blindly." And
they were getting so mad. Yeah, it was kind of funny.
Like, you need to listen to these people who live on this planet. Like, it's so ridiculous. I think it might have gone a little bit better if they had better, coordination. So I kind of figured part of it would not go well. So
it's kind of the same thing with the first 3 episodes. They didn't really tie up some loose ends. Same thing with these episodes, Wade. I don't think we're going to even know what happens on Gorman now, like with these people.
Surely they've played up Gorman in all of the episodes. So
I don't know.
Hopefully,
but they're going to do another year jump, right?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying hopefully either they show like, okay, Gorman was taken over by the Imperials, or
maybe
they rose up or whatever. But I have a feeling it's going to be taken over. So.
We get Bix's revenge. Bix tortures Dr. Gorse, the guy who tortures her in the first season, using his own audio method, and then blows up the building. And it shows Cassian helped her do it. So it's kind of like to get revenge a little bit, and also to like rebel against Luthen as well. Kind of. It's like a rebellion's rebellion, a rebel's rebellion to their own.
I guess so. I'm wasn't a particular fan of that whole arc, but whatever.
I guess just to like make her strong again. I guess
I don't know. But
so that was it. That's what happened. I mean, take the good with the bad, I guess. Wade, we got some cool stuff. We got Director Krennic.
Yeah, but you see, the problem is it's a lot slower than even we just like. That was all the major points. There was a whole lot of other dialogue that I just thought was unnecessary a lot of times. And so I like 50 minutes is just I think a lot for all that they're doing. I don't think they needed that much to accomplish a good story. So,
well, I actually like longer form shows. You have like Daredevil, you have Breaking Bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like, make it more. I don't know. You had so much filler to me. Like, it's just slow. I don't know. I need it is
slow. Like, almost like, I feel like every episode of, like, say, Breaking Bad, you're like, oh my word, like, this is insane. Like, you're like freaking out. And there's 20 some, how many episodes are in Breaking Bad? Like 13 per season?
Yeah,
maybe more than that. I mean, and even, I don't know. I feel like it is a little bit slow. I don't care about the characters whatsoever. I don't even care about Cassian. He's not like...
We were talking before. Character. It's like it's crazy that in the first season, everyone's favorite character is Andy Serkis as the like jailbreak guy. Like you like him more than Cassian.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's very one note, kind of not the greatest person. But I mean, he serves his purpose for the rebellion. But it's just like,
and he's more. We know he's going to be. He's ruthless. Something's going to happen because none of these characters are in Rogue One.
Yeah.
What is going to happen? We're going to have a Rogue One before. We're going to have some sort of Suicide Squad team.
A mini Rogue One before Rogue One.
Something like that. And Andor's going to end up with the Yavin group, which we know. He's on Yavin. But man, and it does make me a little sad that there's so much like I'll give the flowers to the show. It has amazing visuals, amazing writing as well. It is deep, like you said, Wade, but it's like, why Cassian Andor? Why not Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yeah.
The greatest character in Star Wars, some would say. You know what I mean? Because he consists throughout the prequels and the originals. And that TV show was so poor quality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I wonder if it is because of the fantastical elements with Obi-Wan, because he is a Jedi and a Force wielder, because Andor is a lot more real life. So it might be easier to write those kind of stories. You know? Like you just add in a couple ships,
Disney's kind of scared of Jedis. I feel like they're scared. They don't know how to write them as well.
It is crazy. They like never delve deep into them until the Acolyte, and then and then it failed. So yeah, it's just it is tough, I guess, to do the Jedi eras.
Colin, I hate to spoil it for you, but any thoughts?
No, you're good. It sounds okay. It sounds interesting. I'm kind of bummed that it's like all kind of filler.
You might like it though. You might like it.
You might like it. Jacob always likes it, so
I'm gonna give it
if Jacob was here, he'd be roasting us.
Yeah, for sure.
I like it fine. It's not my favorite though, and I'm not blown away. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, it really looks really cool. It looks really awesome visually.
Because I think I watched the first season like after it all came out, so I just like binged all of it, and it was so cool because each 3 episodes kind of felt like a solid arc of the story. So it kind of had a beginning and an end, and a beginning and that So I'm interested to see this because I wondered because they're doing a year for every 3 episodes, right?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's how I thought they were going to kind of structure it. Is like every year kind of has a beginning and an end, and it's kind of like it's the same story all throughout, but it's like you have those clear like chapters almost.
Yeah, and I guess they, like I said, they've kind of been doing this Gorman thing.
Story.
Like it was the intro like before for the first 3, and now we were like on Gorman with the rebellion.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they continue that with the next.
I wonder if that's going to be like you said, the mini Rogue One. It's just like everything goes down on that planet.
That could be good. Yeah.
I'm excited because I like this show. I think it's probably some of the best Star Wars we've gotten. At least the first season was like it was really just cool to watch, and it was like who would have thought like Andor, like this random side character from Rogue One, gets a spin-off show, and it's so good. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's going to get better, Wade, but it's going to be a slow burn. Hopefully,
I heard the first 6 episodes. I think Diego Luna was saying like, yeah, it's crazy. The first 6 episodes like slower compared to the last 6.
See, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping the next 6 are like insane.
I feel like it kind of has to be like they have to wrap this up somehow. So
and also like K2SO is going to be showing up somehow.
Right, he hasn't shown up yet. So
yeah. Sweet guys, I'm hyped for the next 6 episodes. That's wild. I love that we're getting 12 episodes, Wade. I feel like we need good Star Wars, and we need, I think Mandalorian should be 12 episodes, honestly. I want Mandalorian to be deep. You know what I mean? I know I like the side quests. I love side quests. I think that's fun.
Honestly, I've realized like this show has made me realize, okay, side quests, they're not as boring as, I don't know, like.
But this feels a little side quest a little bit to me, Wade. The whole show is kind of a side quest.
Well, for sure. Yeah, I know what you mean, but yes, it's a side quest, but it's like that's the main story. Like there's no overall.
Yeah,
like,
it's the main story of Andor, right. But it's a side quest within Star Wars. Honestly, like it doesn't feel it doesn't feel significant.
Whereas like Mandalorian, though, he goes off on 2 or 3 episode side quests, and then it still has his overarching main story, which is really good. Like this is the overarching story, and it feels like a side quest. So,
I think I hope it gets better. I think it's fine. All right, our last segment, Accountant 2. We all saw it together with Johnny J, with Jacob, with our spouses, with who else came? That was it, right? And it was a good time had by all. Actually, I'm going to be honest, this is probably the funniest movie of the year for me so far. I haven't seen a lot of movies in theaters, though. So, Colin, how do you feel about the humor in this?
I thought it was great. Like, you kind of see in the trailer of the movie, like, oh, like, they're kind of doing, like, buddy cop type structure. But, yeah, even into the movie, like, it plays super well. Like they actually feel like they're just brothers going back and forth, and it's so fun.
Yeah, and there's heart to it. There's depth. There's actually a really good story. I was kind of bummed because a lot of people online were saying like, "Oh, the story's like kind of convoluted, kind of dumb," and I didn't think that.
I don't think so. No,
I don't know. Did you think it was convoluted? And like, I thought it made kind of sense a little bit.
No, it made perfect sense. I mean, they're going after, the child traffickers. I mean,
Yeah, and you kind of had, the beginning, you have J.K. Simmons' character from the first movie. He's become a PI, a private investigator, obviously. He's trying to find this kid, also her mom, his mom as well, right? That was kind of that family together, basically, right? And he gets killed at the beginning, spoiler alert, right? But he's got find the accountant on his arm, because he can solve a puzzle. He's got all of the stuff in his house, so the accountant gets a hold of all of that stuff with the help of the agency lady.
But yeah, it's so cool because he's the savant of like details of stuff. So he can match the
money, crime,
right,
all of that, you know?
But he can like match, like put it into categories that normal people wouldn't pick up on. Like, oh, you weren't categorizing all these pictures correctly. Here's the similarities.
It wasn't kind of funny,
like, sharpened mind.
It was a funny detail that the landlady and the people who owned the house he was renting, they took it all down. So it was all disorganized, and he put it all back up in the correct order. I thought that was pretty cool as well. There's less accounting in this, money stuff.
For sure.
But it's more so like detective-y more, I would say, right? Yeah. But I think you're right, Colin. Like the buddy cop, the brothers stuff is where this movie shines and almost makes it better than the first one, for me personally. Just the brother stuff kind of elevated Christian as a character. With John Bernthal's character, I really...
Well, I loved the first one, like, so much. Like, I thought it was, like, a super stellar movie. I love the action mixed with the really smart writing and character. But you're definitely right that... Because at the end of the first one, I was like, what are they going to do for a second one? Like, it wraps up so neatly. But as we were watching, like, especially this scene here on the screen... It's just like, okay, the brother dynamic was missing because they finally meet at the end of the movie, and you realize
see the assassin the whole time, and you're like, wait a minute, at the end, right?
At the end they talk, and they talk for like just a minute, and John Bernthal's like, say I love you, Christian, come on, you're my brother, and you realize that there's some tension there, but they never delve into it until this movie, and I think that brother tension. Man, this scene especially was crazy. When John Bernthal's like, is it because of me that you?
Yeah, he's like almost crying.
Like, yeah, man, dude, that got me. Like, it's so good. Like seeing their relationship, and Christian obviously he kind of gets distracted and starts like putting sunscreen on his legs to not talk, to shy away from that topic.
Braxton, stop it! It's not funny. Braxton.
John Bernthal grabs it and throws. And he's like, I hate it when you do that. Because that's their relationship in a nutshell. Just thought it was very good, and that's what was missing from the first, and that made a great sequel for it. So
it's almost like his detail orientation in everything has to be a certain way. It kind of prevents him from being deep with people. You even have that really hilarious scene at the beginning where he's going to the speed dating. And he's like, I cracked your system, by the way, and you're doing this all wrong, and here's all the analysis of how to actually do the dating, the ranking or whatever, and how to align everybody.
So online he looks great because he cracked the computer, aspect of it. But in person, no one can stand him because...
Well, and he's Ben Affleck. He's super attractive, he's a movie star, and all the women line up,
And then they just don't understand him.
Yes, exactly.
So they're just like, oh, he's not like us,
Until the dance scene in the bar, and then
that was great. That was great as well when he's cheering on his brother.
Yep.
You kind of have that other side plot of, not even a side plot, the main plot of the mother who got plastic surgery because her face got hit really hard, so she doesn't look how she used to. And she's also gained this savantism as well, but with violence instead. So she's
but it was acquired, which was interesting. Just hit her head so hard that.
Which apparently these are real. This is a real thing. Savantism, obviously. It's like almost on the spectrum of autism, but not. It's like genius level as well. So it's kind of what.
It's not real though. If you like hit your head, have amnesia, and gain it, is it, or was that just for the movie?
That might be for the movie.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Okay,
but I think it's just like extreme things that happen to you sometimes. Like in rare instances, like that could happen, or there's been cases like kind of what they explain in the movie, like where people just gain random skills after something happens.
Yeah. And so, you have that subplot where I understood the connections with the fish company. I love that scene as well where he goes into the place and he's like, you guys are, money laundering.
Yeah.
And the guy gets so mad and he completely.
It's so funny because he has the guy's whole books memorized. He's like, he knows the
5
whole.
So good.
Oh, man.
And the lady's like, don't do violence, please. And also the other part with the they hire the women, in the room. I was getting nervous. I was like, whoa, what's gonna happen? But they just do it to find the main guy who's running the organization. But I was like, this is gonna be so awkward with Ben Affleck's character.
He was standing in the corner, super.
He's like,
awkward.
yeah. He was like, don't be creepy. Stop being creepy.
Don't be scary. Like he just knows his brother. It's so funny.
Yeah.
So good. What else happened? There's also the subplot of John Bernthal, Braxton's character, who wants a dog, and Christian's like, no, you're a cat person. You're a cat person. Like, and then by the end he finds a cat. And you see the cat throughout the movie too, that was kind of a cool little detail.
I couldn't believe the humor in it. Like, just John Bernthal and him together, it was so funny.
They played off each other so well.
Yeah.
You know?
I also loved how John Bernthal's character is kind of like a loser. Like, he's a hitman and he's really cool, but like deep down he's just super lonely. And they hint at it through like the various humor throughout the movie, like just the way he interacts with people. Like, he just, I don't know, he just wants to be with somebody or have somebody.
Well, and that's clearly explained in, like, when you first see him, he's at a table with some woman and you're like, what is, and he's just like having a conversation with her.
And she looks so scared.
She looks so scared and you're like, why didn't she is this like his date? Like, did he just hire someone to talk to him?
No.
And
no.
Then when Christian calls him and asks him to be there in 24 hours, he's like leaving and you're like, it's like, okay, I guess he's like checking out, he's leaving this chick, but he walks by the dead bodies.
like 40 dead bodies.
Word. Of course she's terrified. It's like,
that is a cool scene.
He's just trying to like talk to her, but he's so lonely.
Yeah, that is a really good scene, and it kind of shows the character, I love it. I love it. Also, the ending was very good, where they actually track down the people with the help of the school, the Xavier's School of Gifted Youngsters, the hacker school.
Kind of like that.
It feels a little X-Men-y for me, but with the help of the other people who are really genius level savants, hacking into the system, finding where these people at. It all interweaves pretty well. I can't really go into the detail of how they figure all this out. It's all connected, obviously. But when they get there, it is some really good action, like gun stuff. I really enjoyed it. But they're gonna the children traffickers are gonna kill all the children and put them in a hole. That was pretty dark. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, very serious stakes there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so they take it seriously. There is one savant kid in there they know that is a genius as well, right? Just like Christian.
Oh, yep.
The son of because J.K. Simmons' character was tracking down all these kids, the smart kids, to put them to help the school, which the school is kind of like crime though. So that's kind of weird that they're
them being able to hack the government.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of like committing crimes. Like, they're like having children commit crimes. I don't know how I feel about that. It's kind of weird, but it's good for a movie, I guess. Am I missing anything, guys? This movie was awesome. It's hilarious. I don't know. Yeah, kind of one of the funnier movies this year so far.
The only other movie I think I've seen this year is Captain America. I don't think I went to anything else. So, yeah,
I haven't seen Minecraft. Minecraft might have been funnier for you, Colin.
Yeah, but in a different way. I think this was better, like, humor-wise. Like, I don't know, just overall general audience humor-wise, like, this was definitely better.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's like a perfect. You got to get those those movies that like are a perfect mix of genres. So you got comedy, action, drama, all mixed in, and it's all good. It all mixed together to make a great movie. A great experience.
It's a good mix.
Yeah, and I think they changed the tone too of this movie, kind of like what Dave was talking about with how like the first one he's very like, I don't know, he's very just like kind of one note, but that's what they're trying to get at, just to show like what his skills are, and like he's just like involved in all these like crime underworlds and stuff like that, but it's like kind of building who he is. But then I feel like this movie just showed kind of like more of his humanity, like he's trying to date someone because he does realize like, oh, like I would want someone to be with, like
he's on the phone holding a lightsaber,
talking to his brother. Like it just shows more, they built more of him as like an actual human being who like actually does have relationships with people,
right?
While
same director
keeping those elements from the first movie. So it
is kind of lacking the accounting a little bit though. So maybe they'll hype that up in the next one. They're doing a third one, so
they're doing a trilogy, and that's where like I think this sequel could have been really bad. Like
it could have been really bad.
They could have like shot what they were gonna do, and made it too funny or whatever. But I feel like they just balanced everything really well, and developed the characters itself. So it's good.
It's definitely gonna make my top 10. I think, Wade,
for this year.
For this year, I think so. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, guys,
I think so too.
Am I missing anything else? Any final thoughts before we head on out of here?
So you said they're definitely doing a third one?
They want to, yeah.
They want to.
Okay.
The director wants to bring Anna Kendrick back.
Oh, okay. That would be interesting.
She was the love interest in the first one.
Yeah.
If you can call it a love interest, but yeah.
Yeah.
The awkward kiss or whatever.
Yeah, the awkward love interest. But like they were saying she's open to doing it, so they might bring her back to just end the trilogy.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But yeah, you bring all the elements from both movies, maybe.
Yep.
You have the brother dynamic. You have the love interest, maybe. That's what's missing for Christian a little bit.
You do the accounting.
You do the accounting more so. Also, the gun stuff was fun. The action was fun. And I like it. It's fun. It's a fun time. Ben Affleck's getting back into it. I like it. So yeah,
I did say in my Letterboxd review, go follow all of us on Letterboxd if you want our full opinions. But Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, they're kind of friends or whatever before Hollywood.
Yeah,
they're just like gems of cinema. I think like a lot of the stuff that they're in is so good. And
Ben Affleck's a good director too.
Yeah,
all of his movies are awesome.
Well, they've grown over time too.
Yeah,
and this movie also. Both The Accountant 1 and 2 reminds me of Matt Damon's Good Will Hunting, kind of a similar type story. So it's just cool. They have these great ideas and they're able to implement them super well to make a really intriguing story. So
I love it. Any final thoughts, guys?
No, good movie. Good for general audiences. Like my parents, they're like, oh yeah, we kind of want to go watch, because they haven't seen The Accountant, the first one.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we kind of want to go see it, because of what people have been saying about it. So I think it's very much a dad type movie.
Oh, Colin,
it is.
We have to tell the story, Colin. So we're in the theater and there's like 2 rows in front of us. There's this like obvious dad, right? And they get to, in the Regal cinemas, they have like the little roller coaster thing at first. He's like, like
so good.
Hands up, and Colin's like, what a dad. This is such
dad
a
moment.
Movie.
Yeah.
Like you can tell this is a dad movie.
Classic. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on, and thank you for following us on YouTube, on Spotify. If you want to listen to us just without our faces, you can also email us if you have any ideas at webinarseminarpodcast@gmail.com. We love you guys. Follow us on Instagram as well. And you can always join us live Thursdays at 9 p.m. Thursdays at 9 p.m. We're consistent with that, right, Dave? We're gonna keep doing that. 52 weeks out of the year, unless we have like vacation or Christmas, probably, right? So we want to be consistent. We're here for you guys. We love you, and stick around. Next week, more Andor and maybe some other cool stuff. Peace.